and with that drizzle comes some Saharan dust. So if you just got your car washed, well, you're probably fretting a bit this morning, aren't you? Anyway, I hope you're having a good day. And speaking about cars, I'm pleased to welcome my first guest with issues plaguing car dealership industry, particularly the used car dealers here in TNT. Well, to highlight some of those issues, to get an understanding of what is taking place and the results of the current affairs here in TNT. I'm joined by Mr. Visham Babwah. He's the president of the Trinidad and Tobago Automotive Dealers Association. Good morning, Mr. Babwah.
Hi, good morning. Good morning to you.
Well, thank you very much for joining me, sir. Now, we are aware of the issues associated with the automotive dealership industry, particularly as it relates to the cost of importation and the issues surrounding CNG and hybrid vehicles. However, there's also another area of issue which is now driving up the cost for automotive dealers in the industry, and it was raised by you most recently, and that is matters of security, simply because of criminal activity. What is your association, or what are members of your association experiencing at this point in time?
Well, currently, like everyone else and every business sector in this country, my members and the car dealers, we are experiencing severe problems with criminal activities. Up to recently, every day I would have dealers calling me and they sharing their experiences with me. You know, there was guys came to hold them up. They have been robbed. They had their homes invaded, and it has become so terrible now that a lot of the dealers have indicated to me that they don't open their dealerships like up to the later hours. They would close earlier. They would have to hire security to take them to and from their business places to their home, and they will have different layers of security. Right now, all these layers of security adds to the cost. And this cost might not or might be passed on to the consumers. It depends on market forces and different aspects of the business. But it is something that is affecting car dealerships, the owners, and their employees. It is affecting them terribly.
Now, you said this has also limited operations due to fear. That being the case, is it that there's been a decline in sales? I mean, we're linking this particularly to crime, not necessarily the economy, though it's very hard to separate both. Is it that it's also led to a decrease in sales as well as the revenue for the dealerships across the nation?
Well, once you have a high level of crime and people are scared to conduct business, also you will have persons who are purchasing vehicles. They are also scared to purchase cars. Yeah. For example, like if a person wants to buy, let's say, a car that is a luxury brand, they would desist from that because that will attract certain criminal elements. So this affects everything in the business sector. Crime has affected our businesses terrible. There's a downturn in sales because of crime. Of course, there's a kind of, we have other issues, Forex and other issues that is affecting us also. But crime being one of the contributors to downturn in business is something that has to be looked at separate from all these other factors, because crime is something that could be dealt with by the government of the day, and it has to be dealt with. It is not external forces like that. So this is something we have to look at how it can be dealt with. And when businessmen are packing up businesses and they are leaving to go to other countries, or they might choose not to open their business during regular hours or to close earlier, the government of the day needs to look and to see what they have to do to get businessmen back, you know, with alleviating this level of fear that business people has in the country.
And some of your members have indicated their desire to migrate. You've expressed how some of them have suggested that because their children are living abroad, simply because of the circumstances here in Trinidad and Tobago, they no longer feel the need to operate here. They're looking to take their business elsewhere.
Yes, definitely. A lot of dealers, they have their family lives abroad because they have a business here, their base is here, And, some persons, they might not be that old, but, because of their age, they don't want to go and restart. So that's why they will send their children away, but they will remain here and they will try to, use the security available to them, but they will keep their businesses running, but they will not really operate on this full manner. And you have to understand, sometimes we might go abroad. Some persons, it might be easy to think you will go abroad and live. But when you move to another country, after a certain age, it will be difficult to adapt because you have to adapt to a whole new way of life, a whole different kind of dealings you have to deal with people. And it is something difficult for a person who might be over a certain age bracket. So that's why some would tend to stay back. People might say, but your family is abroad and you can go abroad. But going abroad and living within four walls is very difficult. So that's why a lot of the dealers here would stay back and try to, make some success of what they have built already.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's speak about roughly about 30 of your members actually being victims of robberies in recent times. Has there been any sort of intelligence that suggests that the business place being robbed, whether it be through cash or through cars, particularly through actual vehicles, have been used in bigger crimes? Is that also one of the concerns of the dealers involved?
Yeah, well, once some of these cars that are stolen, they don't really find them because most times they have been sold for maybe mere pittance of $5,000 or something. They might steal a car $150,000 in value, and they would go and sell that car for $5,000 for spare parts. Some have been. The police were able to recover some of the vehicles, but a lot of them would go and they would sell for scrap. Mm-hmm. They would scrap the cars and they would sell them. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you would find certain cars at certain locations, and they would call the general public to identify these cars. And cars have been found at those locations, not per se found while committing a robbery or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And with regards to that, these cars not being found, what is the relationship between the Tobago Police Service and the Automotive Dealership Association?
Well, we have a good relationship. Whenever I have to interact with the police and members, we do have a good relationship. But there are some bad apples. I'll give you an example of myself. I have been robbed at my business place 3 times. My home has been invaded. It is something that you don't really get over because every time you hear maybe a bird, any slight noise, it will wake you up because you had this issue already. And when I had this home invasion and the police came to my home, I had some issues that I highlighted to the inspector at the time of the Chabonas police station because I told him that they actually held the guys. They held the guys, and one of the police came and was blatantly telling me, "Boy, Babwah, we hold the man here, but the man say the stuff that he take, it wasn't good, and he throw it in a river, and they can't find it again." And I went to the head of the department, and he told the guy, he said, "What kind of story you giving this man? A 2-year-old child wouldn't believe that." Actually, on the day of the court case, when I had to go to court, I was informed about 8 o'clock to reach the court for 9 o'clock. I had other appointments. I could not go. So I saw this as a deliberate attempt for me not to attend court, and the case was thrown out. I highlighted this matter, and this matter has affected me, and this is what is happening with some of the rogue elements in the police service.
Mm-hmm. Would you say it's a common issue, though, faced and experienced by membership of the association?
Yeah, whenever a lot of times when people report matters, it die right there and it don't go further. And this is why we have to find different ways. And like the commissioner of police, you hear that they talk. Talk is free. They talk and they promise and they are going to bring change and this is going to happen. But nothing is actually happening on the ground with regards to when people make complaints and police has to act on it. Mm-hmm. So this is why you say have a good relationship. Sometimes people might not have the courage or to speak up about these things. But these are things that are affecting people, and this is why the criminal elements are running so free and rampant in this country.
Mm-hmm. I know this is just one of many issues actually affecting the association, because another issue that you've highlighted is with regards to foreign exchange and how it is affecting the ability of purchasing power for dealers and the ability to also import stock. Has there been any issues that that you've raised that have actually been resolved in regards to the ability to import vehicles, clear them on time, and actually have them within the yards ready to be sold?
No, we have several issues with regards to importing vehicles. One is forex. We can't really get enough forex. Sometimes you have to buy black market. You have other things because you have to keep your business running. We have big issues with customs also. They have this Asicura system also, this system that is fully automated, and you have to clear your cars. You have 5 free days, but then after 5 days, they are still checking the documents. The valuation officer will not have released the document. Some of these cars don't even have taxes. When I say don't have taxes, so they have no reason to red flag it. When they red flag the cars, is because they need to do additional checks. And most times they check the value of the car to see if it's the correct items that are coming in the country. And when we have all these setbacks, again, it increases the cost. It frustrates you because you have something that you were supposed to clear within 3 days. They give you 5 free days within that 5 days. And after 6 or 7 days, it's now going down to the port where you will take another 2 or 3 days. Then it has to come to your premises or go to the CES. So we have a combination of problems here and a combination of things that has to come together in order for this to run smooth. But that is not happening. So Forex is a big challenge in terms of being able to pay for goods. And then we have the other aspects of it that is also causing our goods to be held back unnecessarily.
Well, the efficiency on the port system, that doesn't seem to be getting any better. It does not matter whom I speak to. It's always an issue with respect to the efficiency of getting all your documents in check and being able to clear your goods and products on time. But there's a point that you raised there, and that is having to go to the black market to purchase foreign exchange. Is that the way that these businesses are actually surviving, that they have no other alternative but to actually work with the black market or actually trade via the black market in order to gain foreign exchange just to keep their dealership afloat?
Yes, a lot of dealers have to buy forex in the outside. And now, when we say black market, we make it sound kind of underground something. But it is something like this. A guy has some money to sell some forex. They acquired it. However, they would have their means through work. Some people work abroad. They get paid. Some people export stuff, and then they have to resell the US. So instead of going to the bank and getting a low rate, they will come to you and say, okay, well, look, I have this amount of money that I have in my account, I can transfer it. So everything is done legally, but if you, I think there's some sort of law or something here that you can't, only the bank is allowed to purchase Forex and things like that. But, we still have our businesses to run. And when we say black market, it's not really something illegal, but it's just through another channel to get this. And this is how a lot of the dealers are able to pay for goods. Mm-hmm. They have to buy the Forex on this market, else you will have to shut down.
Mm-hmm. Now, also with regards to finances, there are tax exemptions on hybrid motor vehicles. But one of the issues is the age, the limit in which a vehicle can be imported. I know this is something that you've raised multiple times before, simply because of also the value of the vehicle and how it allows for people to purchase it. Has that issue found any sort of resolution as well? I'm raising these issues once more within the public domain to see that how it seems as though we're getting nowhere and the industry is facing challenge upon challenge. But has there been any resolution to any of these issues that we've highlighted this morning, including the age of the importation of electric and hybrid vehicles?
The electric and hybrid vehicles, as a matter of fact, all the vehicles, there's a permissible age of importation now. The full electric vehicle, you have a permissible age of up to 2 years. And for all the other vehicles, hybrid and non-hybrid vehicles, we have a permissible age of up to 3 years. Now, when you purchase a vehicle, 3 years and 2 years, the price now is creeping up close to a new vehicle. So you have a lot of persons who would have qualified for a vehicle if it was 5 or 6 years old are unable to qualify for this vehicle now. Because although we have a tax exemption, because I get this question every day, there's a tax exemption in this car, and why it is still so costly? Like maybe 2 years or 3 years ago, we were selling a Toyota Aqua for maybe around $65,000. But now, this same Aqua, but it will be 2 or 3 years old, is selling for $100,000. So people ask, well, we have a tax exemption in this car, why it is selling so costly? The problem is not us. The problem is that the age that we have to purchase car, this 2 years and 3 years, persons are not selling their cars as frequent. So when we purchase this car now, we have to purchase it at a market. These cars are auction driven, and there are other countries that purchases the car also. We have over 100 countries buying these cars. So you have to go in that market and you have to bid. And when you bid, the prices increase because there are smaller numbers of cars that you have to bid on. And so this is a serious issue. I have indicated this to the government many times, but they have moved the age from 6 years to 4 years to 3 years and 2 years, which is very difficult for persons of the lower income bracket to purchase a car. And we have the exemption, which has been assisting, because persons can also purchase a vehicle that is new, but it will not be that comparatively priced. So we have to look at this matter. I have indicated to them many times that this won't work in favor of the lower income persons, but nothing has been done about this yet.
Mr. Babwah, that sounds more of an issue in regards to supply and demand rather than tax exemption, given that such cars as you've described have become so popular not only in Trinidad and Tobago, but around the world, simply because of their costs and the cost to benefit for the consumer. That sounds more of an issue for supply and demand rather than a tax exemption.
Yeah, the age. You see, the age of the car is most important. People, the naysayers have been saying when you bring a 5 or 6 year old car into the country, it is not good. A lot of countries, first world countries, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and you can name them, come down up to 100 countries, have been purchasing these cars. These cars, although they may be 5 or 6 years old, they are very structurally sound, and they has the integrity and everything because they are well serviced. There are even cars that are manufactured with modern technology. So these cars are roadworthy and everything like that. And the demand for these cars are so high that when they go in the auction and all these countries, dealers have to bid for it, it increases the price. And this is why, as you just said, it is an issue of demand and supply. So that's what we always keep saying, that if the age of the car come to a age, the permissible age of importation, between 5 and 6 years, not many countries have that age bracket. Some have up to 10 years. Some countries, so they will go for the older cars, and some countries have up to 4 years. So between 4 and 6 years was a good point for us to purchase cars where you won't have much countries bidding for these cars. And it would have served well because, we have a serious downturn in the country. It would also save a lot of forex. Instead of we have to import the newer cars, 2 and 3 year old, we would have had to use less forex to import these 6 year old cars.
Mm-hmm. But, okay, let's just say that the age limit, as you've just described, is actually dealt with in favor of the Automotive Dealers Association. Would that actually translate to the prices being reduced on the market, or would the cars remain at the price of roughly $95,000 to $100,000? The reason why I'm asking that is because prices never go down.
In the automotive sector, if you can remember, I don't know if you was ever in the market for a car, about just a little over 2 years ago, as I said, we were selling the Aqua, the Toyota Aqua, and a lot of other cars. I use the Aqua because that's the most common car, for about $60,000, $65,000. This car was being sold for that price, but then it was up to 5, 6 years old. So we have the history to show where the prices went down. The only time the prices go up is when the government affects the age of the car. When they move it to 4 years and 3 years and 2 years, that is when the cost keep going up. And a lot of persons, that's why people ask, you know, they were paying $65,000 for this car and 60 or $65,000. How come we have to pay $95 or $100,000 now? And it's because of the age of the car. This is a determinant factor in the cost of a car.
Well, Mr. Babwah, thank you very much for joining me on AM Prime this morning. We will be in touch to get further updates to see if any of the issues that you've highlighted are resolved. But for now, this is where we'll have to conclude, and I can only extend. Well, I just hope that all dealers, you know, with all the investments in terms of security that they've had to implement, I hope that things just become a bit better and a bit safer for all. So thank you for your time this morning, sir, and wishing you all the best.
Thank you all for having me. Take care and have a safe day.
You too, sir.